This is Two Teachers Chat with your hosts, Brenda McCrate and Peggy Wilbur.
Good morning, Peggy.
Hi, Brenda.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Well, good.
Yes.
Good.
And we have our cups of coffee.
We do.
For Two Teachers Chat. And we know that teachers touch lives forever.
And today we're going to give you some practical advice on standards and objectives, or as we call them, learning targets.
Learning targets.
We know we all learned about them. We know we're all supposed to have them posted nice and neatly on our whiteboards.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us manage to do that. Some of us forget to ever talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us talk about them at the beginning of the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to use them because we're told that we're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But why? What's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the point is that if the kids actually understand what we want to teach them, they can help in their own learning.
Mm-hmm.
So, once you get that nice, neat learning target up there, we want you to actually use it. And not just at the beginning of the lesson. At the beginning, in the middle, and at the end.
So we're not going to go deeply about learning targets this
Not
time.
today.
But would we do a learning target about, I will learn about the Revolutionary War?
No, that's way too abstract.
Okay.
Okay? Understanding, learning, those are not anything that we can measure.
Okay.
Now, can I explain 3 reasons for the Revolutionary War? That would be a learning target. I can explain 3 reasons for the Revolutionary War.
How about math?
Oh, math. I love math because math is so concrete.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say, I can multiply 2 digits by 1 digit using the lattice method, or whatever method your book
Mm-hmm.
gives you. That's very doable.
Mm-hmm. Measurable?
Measurable.
Uh-huh.
The kids can understand what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can finish page 63 in the math book, however, not so great. That's an activity,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody can either finish it or not.
Right.
We want them to be able to actually do the multiplication.
Right.
So it needs to be concrete. It needs to be fairly simple. People have different methods and different parts and go with whatever you're told.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that you want to use it. So at the beginning of the lesson, I like to have the kids read the learning target
Mm-hmm. Out loud.
out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I like to explain any bigger vocabulary words.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can, I want to give an example of what they'll be able to do at the end. So take that multiplication problem. I would have an actual 2 digit by 1 digit multiplication problem done and completed right underneath my learning target. So I can say to the kids, and this is what you'll be able to do at the end of our lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Those holistic learners, they need that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to be doing step-by-step process and details. They don't believe in the details, they believe in the end product.
Right.
So they need to know, okay, I'm going to be able to do that. And as she does each step, most of them will go, oh, I see
That's
how
where we
that
are.
reaches the end.
Right.
I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Your detail kids, they'll follow you anywhere with details. And they're lovely for that, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to teach all your different learners.
Mm-hmm. All the different types.
So I've seen a lot of teachers who actually go over that learning target at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then they leave it there. Can you use it in the middle? Absolutely. In fact, it's really important. And it will build an internal summary for those kids in their brain.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we? Where do we need to go? How am I doing on this part? All those things.
So in the middle of the lesson, you go back to the learning target.
You do.
Ah.
So say I've done a model of the 2 digit by 1 digit.
Uh-huh.
We've done a few where I've had kids, we do, where the kids raise their hand and say, oh, I know that next step, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe even come up and do it on the board. And I want to see whether their comfort level is where I can give them some to do on their own. Do we
Mhm.
need to do some pairing first?
Mhm.
What do we need to do? So I might put that last problem up there, or a new problem,
Mhm.
and I might say, well, let's go back to our learning target. It says, I can multiply 2 digit by 1 digit using whatever method.
Mhm.
Guys, give me a thumbs up if you think you could do that right this very minute. Give me a thumbs sideways if you think you need some more practice. Give me a thumbs down if you really are not getting it and you need some individual help, or you just need me to keep doing it. And I will look at those. Now, if I get half and half, up and sideways, I might do some pair dues where I put them together in a pair with a stronger partner and a weaker partner, and I let them do the process, because let's face it, when they talk to each other, they teach for us.
Right.
Because they understand peer language better than they do ours. If I get all thumbs down or all thumbs sideways, I'm going to do a whole bunch more, maybe go back to my own model, really stress the steps and all of that. If I'm doing, say I was doing a compare contrast and we had done the compare piece, I might go back to that learning target and say, well, it says I can compare and contrast this character and that character. What have we done so far, guys? Oh, we've compared them. We've said what's the same. So what do we have left to do? Oh, we need to do the contrast part. It's good to go back because it keeps you going down rabbit holes. It keeps you from doing that.
From doing rabbit holes, right.
So you're not suddenly off talking about the movie that matches the compare and contrast and the characters and everything.
Right.
You're bringing it back. And if you've gone down that rabbit hole, it's a good way to bring it back.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the learning target because we're not doing it.
So when the students are giving you feedback as to how they are, how well they feel that they are understanding the steps in the lesson, then they're actually doing metacognition, where they're thinking about their own thinking, and that's actually getting from content knowledge into a soft skill.
Yes, where they're actually able to assess themselves.
Yes.
And that is so important. We want student-centered classrooms, not teacher-centered classrooms. And until the kids can think about their own thinking, we're not going to get there. Now, at first, especially with the little ones, because I taught some kindergarten in my day, you're going to get this.
Yeah, they put their thumb up.
I know everything.
Thumbs up.
I have no idea what you just said, but I'm just going to smile and give you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
But I have had even kindergartners go from here to, I'm not quite getting it here, teach.
Yeah.
And you know what that means? That means when you pull out the same thing tomorrow and you're going to do more practice, instead of getting, you're going to get, oh, good. I need some more practice. Yay, we're going to do some more.
It is amazing how young students can assess themselves and go, ooh, I don't know that as well as I think I want to.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a sweet, quick format, or
it is. You're still going to want to have them do problems that you're looking at, either with a partner or on their own, and you're going to want that exit ticket. You have to have the data.
Okay.
You have to have the data. You have to be able to say, well, yeah, they thought they didn't get it, and guess what? They were right. But for them to internalize it and take over their own learning. And that's what we want. We want them to be lifelong learners who say, I want to learn this, and it's going to take some practice. I'm not going to get it the first
what you're
time.
talking about is at the end of the lesson, you once again visit the learning target.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. By an exit ticket, or
you can exit ticket, and one thing I've added to my exit tickets is a drawn thumbs up or thumbs sideways or thumbs down or just a fist to 5. How comfortable do you feel? I'm a fist. I tried this and I know I got it wrong. I'm a 1 or a 2. I think I need a lot more help. I'm a 3 or a 4. I'm getting there. Or I'm a 5. I'm good with this. I could teach it to the guy next to me. That kind of thing. And at first, your kids may, all put 5s. But if the learning environment is safe and failure is okay because we learn from failure, then they will become more and more honest. And if they can be honest with you, then they can be honest with themselves. And that's really important. And it keeps you focused on the learning target, because let's face it, we're humans. We can go down those rabbit trails too. And it just will help your kids with that buy-in for every lesson you have, whether they really wanted to learn it or not. If they know what you're trying to teach them, you're not hiding it from them.
Right. Well, that's what you had talked about earlier was, the teacher who created the lesson plan knows what you plan on teaching them, but talk about how the student.
Well, in our day, and I don't know about the 20-somethings, maybe, I was one of your teachers, so maybe we were better at it, but in our day, the teacher knew what they were going to teach, and then we had to read the teacher. We had to figure out how to get the good grade. We had to figure out what they wanted. It was never just laid out there for us. If you lay out what your expectations are, almost all of your kids will meet your expectations, and at least all of them will try, because they want.
And you're laying it out in the learning target. Today we're going to learn this, so it is clear, it is concrete, and so they're not having to guess, what are we doing today? Why are we doing it?
Exactly. And you don't leave it there at the front of the lesson and never touch it again. You go back in the middle, maybe a couple times. At the end, you review it so that tomorrow when you say, remember when we did the 2-digit by 1-digit, and most of you actually got it, here are the exit tickets, they'll all go, yeah, I do remember that. Now, I'm going to speak to one last thing, because I know my coffee's almost empty. But what happens when it's recess, or lunch, or time to go to specials, and I'm not done yet, and I've done the lesson, but how do I wrap up that learning target? Well, lining up is a good time to use, because we don't have a minute to waste. So this is what I used to do. I taught science, and boy, you had to be done when the teacher showed up at the door. It was a specials.
Right.
And I would say, okay, as you're lining up, please show me how you're feeling about this concept, and also talk to the person in front of you or behind you about 2 things that you learned about the water cycle today. And then I would walk up and down the line and listen in on those quick conversations, and I would realize who actually learned what they needed to and who didn't, and they were ready for the teacher to pick them up. And unlike adults, the children will almost always talk about what you asked them to talk about. So there's another way to do it, because time is not on our side,
Right.
but learning targets will be on your side and on the students. So teach, use learning targets, and enjoy your teaching.
And get some more coffee. Okay.
Thank you for watching 2 Teachers Chat. Until next time, and remember, teachers touch lives forever.